right. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Want to see if you can hear me okay. How's the sound? Michelle, thank you. Holly, we're going to get started in about 1 minute here. Just checking sound, saying hi to everybody. Hey, Valerie, Stanley. If you're new to this, if this is your first AM power, drop a one in the chat. If this is your first AM power. See, we got new people on the line today. One awesome, Landy. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. If you're not a newbie and you've been here with us before, you kind of know the format here. We're gonna have fun for about 30 minutes or so. Probably a little less today. I have a prepared talk that I'm excited to provide because I believe it's kind of the secret power of leadership and being able to scale your business. So good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Demand. Awesome. All right, we can give it 1 more minute because everyone kind of hops on here 2 minutes after, and then we'll get this party started. Let us know where you're zooming in from today. I'm in Missouri. If I could flip you around, I'd flip you around and show you. It's a little rainy here, but basically live in the woods. I love always seeing where people are coming from. And oh, we got Miss Brooke. Brooke, you're on birthday vacation. Get out of here. Go swim or something. She's in Mexico celebrating her birthday week, but still working. We got Holly on the bike there. Awesome. We got everyone. She's in the background. She's like, I'm rocking and rolling. We got Norma. We got Diane. Ohio, finally a sunny day. Yeah, Ohio can be a cloudy place. Up in Ontario, Canada, we're actually planning our Canada launch event very soon. So we're launching in Canada, but we got to do it in a big way, right? So we're going to do a nice, fun launch event there. So look for that very soon. All right, another 30 seconds and we'll get started. Navarre, Florida. I've never heard of Navarre, Florida. Interesting. Always places that you hear like, I've never been there before. I love Florida though. Probably will end up living there someday, or maybe in Puerto Rico. So, all right, cool. Let's get started. All right. All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Power. My name is James Leonhardt. I will be your host and trainer for today. The purpose of these AM Powers is very, very simple. It's to educate, inspire, and motivate, to really create this one team culture that we have here. And, you see people every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same channel, be able to come on here and really pour into our community. One of the things I grew up on in this industry was, the tape in your car. Who had tapes? I mean, I have cassette tapes. Still have a cassette tape. I don't know. Then it turned to CDs, and now it's like magical things in the air and the cloud and all that stuff. But I remember back in the day, you buy like tape cassettes, and you'd have CD sets. I remember the big CD thing, the library thing that you carry with you, and you had the CDs on the visor. And mine were filled with people like Jim Rohn, John Maxwell eventually. They were filled with just tons and tons of mentors. And I mentioned that I haven't mentioned, but I've been in this industry for about 26 years. 26 years. There's people on here that are probably you know younger than my experience in this industry, and so I've been doing this for a long time. And the reason I bring that up is because when you're in something, I would say for more than 10 years, if you're in something for more than a decade, you start to see patterns, you start to notice things. And when you do it for 25 years or more, you really start to see, okay, when this happens. And you start to make these little connections, and building a business becomes more of a science than it is an emotional hobby or emotional something that people are trying to do. It becomes a profession. I always use the analogy of golf. I love golf. For about a 2 year stint, I was a member of a golf club, and did about 80 rounds a year playing golf. And so that was a lot of fun. But I still didn't go out on tour. I got really good. I was almost a scratch golfer. But now if I go out and golf, I'm not a scratch golfer because I don't golf a lot. And so, the reason I use that analogy is because when people go, how do you become a professional? You do something consistent enough for a certain period of time, and then you become a professional. And so, a professional here in network marketing, direct sales, direct to consumer, where you're actually choosing to build a team. Because it's really cool about our company is that you don't necessarily have to build a team. You can be really any type of person. You can be a retailer, an influencer, a connector. You can be all these different types of people and be able to create a massive way of generating income into your life. You don't have to fit into our mold for you to be successful. You can really develop what that is for you and go through that process, which is very different than most things out there where they're giving you a set of rules. And I used to say this all the time, the compensation plan dictates the culture. That's what I've said a lot over the years. Now that belief is being challenged in me being here because one of the things about our compensation plan, you go, okay, my goal is like our founder, the goal was to create a business model that can develop into walk away income. So walk away income, when you first say that out loud, people will be like, oh, you mean like residual income? You mean like passive income? There's a difference with walk away income. Even, if you buy real estate. Now, if you sell the real estate, you can walk away from it, or maybe you have a management firm or something like that where they're controlling your real estate portfolio or whatever it is, and it allows you to kind of walk away and not be so involved. I mean, unless you're, buy a mega apartment complex and you've got to like collect rent and all that kind of stuff, but you can hire someone for that. The reason I'm going down this path is because when this company was formed, it was formed to go, I want to create walk away income. So somebody can come in here, have a massive impact, create this huge surge, and then if they choose to, not by design, but if they choose to, they can walk away. And if that is something that's of interest to you, like you'd want to create a 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever the number is, you'd want to create that income where you don't have to be involved anymore. Like you don't have to show up. You could just show up, go to the vacations. You can show up to the events, but you don't have to show up on a daily basis. You get to build your life however you want to build during the day. You don't have responsibilities and people to look after and all these different things. And if that's something that's of interest to you, because it might not be, and that's okay, if it's of interest to you to create an income and a business where you do not have to be present, put a one in the chat. If you're watching this on replay, I don't know, think to yourself one. So again, if you're looking to do that, and you might not want to do that. You might really just love selling products. And you're like, I just want to sell products, James. I want to make an extra $1,000 a month. Awesome. You can do that here. Maybe you're a person that goes, listen, I just want to be an influencer and I just want to like share my link and then like people buy products and that's all I want to do. I want to be an affiliate influencer type person. Or you might be a person on here and go, I have a retail location. I'm a chiropractor, I'm a natural practitioner, and I just want to sell that way. And that's all I want to do. Those are all great. What I am going to focus on today is how do you create a business that doesn't need you to be present? Because that's what I have wanted to figure out how to do over the last 25 years. And I have, worked with lots of companies, lots of leaders, lots of countries, companies, all these kind of things. And what's really interesting is I'm a constant evaluator. I'm constantly going, okay, what's the commonality here? How can we boil it down to the simplest thing that everyone can do? Because some of my early mentors were people like Randy Gage. I don't know if you know who Randy Gage is. He's written tons and tons of books, and he's a person that I followed early on in my career. And he talked about things that I was like, that'd be so cool. Like one of my favorite books is Make the First Circle Work. And it was like this idea that it's not about your sponsor, it's not about the people you enroll, it's not about your sideline, it's not about anything except you, because you are the first circle that has to get better and improve and all these different things. And so these mentors poured into me, whether they did it on purpose or not, because I just was a bookworm, really for the first, I would say, 5 years being in this industry. I read, I listened, I worked with Tony Robbins for like 6 years to like make it so I could actually do things like this and talk on screen because I'm a born introvert and I don't like talking. If I had a choice, I would say no, I don't want to talk. But I've learned how to do it over the years, and that's that was part of it. Going, okay, I want to pursue this idea of creating walkaway income because it's implanted in my brain. So my mentors like, oh yeah, they always talked about this idea of being tri-coastal. I'm like, what's tri-coastal mean? That's kind of cool. And not that I want to have this, but it was this idea that was planted in my brain where one of my mentors had a house in each, or it was a house or a condo in each time zone, and each house was fully furnished, fully clothed. He didn't travel with anything except a little backpack, and he would just go from house to house to house. I'm like, that's freaking cool. How do you create a tri-coastal lifestyle? Now, I've traveled all over the place, but I haven't had three homes in three different time zones. And he would go live in it every quarter of the year. He'd live in them. I thought it was cool. But this idea of how would you do that? Well, you'd have to create independent leaders. You'd have to create people that don't necessarily need you, but they lean on you maybe for support. And then you have a tool that gives them something to be able to empower their team to utilize that. And you've heard me maybe talk about this before, the idea of like if you want time freedom, like my goal is time freedom. That's what I want more of. If that's your goal, whenever your lips are moving or your fingers are typing, you're either pointing to a tool or you're bringing in your team. One of those two. I'm tool or team. If I ever catch myself talking too much, and I'm like, oh, I'm the expert. I'm talking too much to the people I'm directly prospecting. Now, when you're talking to your team, it's different. But I'm directly prospecting. I'm very short with my messages. If you're on here and I've enrolled you, you know that. I mean, I'm very short. I go, here's the link. Go check it out. Let me know when you take a look at it. I don't like do a ton of follow up. I don't do a lot of like, okay, Kim, it's been 24 hours. I'm gonna message you. I put a lot of messages out there because I'm looking for a certain type of person that wants to learn how to create leveraged income. And that you might be different for you. Maybe you're looking for people that just want to sell retail or do online. I love the idea that in this business, we can diversify our income with different ways of earning income. And so we can have people that are retailers and influencers and social sellers and all these different things. And you can make money on all of the different ways or very specific ones. So, the title of what I wanted to talk about today, this superpower I alluded to in the beginning, is I want you to write down these three things if you can. Kim can't because she's on the elliptical. But write down these three words: leverage, leadership, and letting go. Leverage, leadership, and letting go. I think the third one is the hardest thing to learn how to do, because we're really good at holding on to things. We're not so good at letting go of things. But actually, holding on creates stress. Letting go actually creates freedom when you let go of things. One of my favorite movies I watch all the time is Star Wars. The idea of letting go of things, that's where the power is. And if you hold on to things, that's where the dark side is. Because if you hold on to things and you get scared of losing things, that's what creates this. You can even see it in my body. It creates stress. But when I let go, it creates freedom. And so I want to talk about this idea of how do we do leverage, leadership, and letting go. And it's really by one secret weapon that if you master this one thing, you don't have to really do anything else, because some people do this innately. They're just good at connecting people. It's actually what they're good at. I have lots of friends that, they wouldn't even consider themselves leaders, but they make eight figures a year. And like, well, how do they do that? Well, they're really good at connecting. And what does connecting mean? I always look at it like connecting dots together and connecting things together, right? And so if you're a person you get really good at connecting people together, you can scale to whatever size you want. If you are the one that wants to always be in the conversation, you're holding on to that. Whereas like if I let go of it and I go, okay, I'm just going to connect people and we're going to watch the magic happen. And David and Brooke are amazing at this because they connect people together. Like, hey, you and you'd be great together. Awesome. See you later. Bye. And again, because it's how do you scale that together? How do you do that in a way that you can connect people like that, which would be either a sideline or you connect people in any other way, or how do you connect with your sponsor or your leadership or things like that? How do you do that? And that's really the power of third party validation. So, the actual title of my talk today is Leverage, Leadership, and Letting Go: The Power of Third Party Validation. And you go, wait a minute. So this one little skill, like we're not talking how to sell, how to close, how to present, how to do any of those things. Because what's beautiful about network marketing outside of any other industry on the planet that I know of, and I've looked at a lot of them, it's the only industry where you don't need to become skilled at many things. And if you become skilled at a very few things, you can make millions and millions of dollars and impact millions and millions of lives. And so the way to do that is with third party validation. And so an example of third party validation would be when somebody comes to you and you introduce this business model to them and they start asking you questions about the compensation plan. How do the products work? What is this and why is that? And how do I get enrolled? And they start asking you questions. And then if you start going, okay, my job is to give them the answers. That's not your job. Your job is to introduce people to a company. And then when you do that, is be able to provide and empower them with the tools and your team in order for you to create time freedom. And so the reason that we create this one team philosophy here, the reason we do that is because you can utilize our Facebook groups. You can utilize your sponsorship line, your leadership line, your diamonds, all those different things to really create something that when you are in this business, you don't feel like you're having to manage it all. You don't have to build all of the things. All you have to do is bring people into the house. I think of it like a party, right? So if you were to, I'm not a big party person, right? Because I'm an introvert. But if you were to have a party at your house and you invited, say, 100 people to your house, and they're all in your house, and you kind of take responsibility for feeding 100 people, do you think you're going to have any fun at the party? Probably not, because you're going to be trying to feed everyone at that party. Versus if you empower people and you're like, hey, Kristen, can you watch to make sure everyone's getting chips? All right, cool. Hey, Holly, can you make sure everyone's got drinks? Sweet. Sabrina, can you take coats? You watch this stuff on Seinfeld all the time. That's how they do it, right? And they're always just like, hey, can you handle this? Oh, sure, I'll help out. No problem. And that allows you time freedom. And so you're leveraging people to help you feed 100 people and entertain 100 people and make it a fun environment. That's how I think of this industry. It's not my job to feed everybody. It's my job to bring them in. And this is the first time I've been a part of a company that says, okay, and we're going to provide all the things from the top down, whether it's our boards app or our marketing systems or our Facebook groups or our daily calls. We have AM calls like now, we have PM calls. So every morning you can get up, watch AM Power, you can listen to the podcast, you can invite to the overviews at night. You never have to present, talk, or do anything, but you do have to get good at third party validation. And so again, when I'm always bringing people on too, the instant they come in, I instantly bring them to Brooke, David, Miles, Heidi, whoever I'm working with. And I always have to check myself because I have to go, oh, wait a minute, I could answer this. And if in my brain I go, oh, I could answer this, I go, no, bring them to Brooke because could I answer the questions about products? I go, yeah, I could answer the questions about products. I could send the tools, the resources, all that kind of stuff. But what's more powerful for that person? What's more power? I want to bring them to Brooke and go, Brooke, can you answer all these questions? And she'll go, blah, 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 and they'll go, wait a minute. All James did was bring me in and then introduce me to somebody. They answer all the questions. All right, cool. I I could do that. That's something that's pretty easy for me to do. And so mastering the way to do three-way chats and three-way communications and introduce people to get questions answered. Now, here's the thing, though. It's not about someone doing the work for you. You're not bringing in a closer. And that's how I used to look at this. Like, I don't, my friends are going to think I'm trying to close them. No, it's all about validation because if we strip away social media, if we strip away all the ways we do online, back in the day, and this is why I think people that have been in this industry for more than 10, 15 years before social media, there's a little bit of an advantage because I remember bringing my sponsor to coffee meetings. I remember going into a hotel where there was a presenter, and then my job was to do this. Like this is my job. Yep. I agree to everything the speaker said. That was my job in the crowd. And then after the event, I'd come if Kristen was the one. that did the event. At the end, I'd bring my prospect up to Kristen. I'm like, oh my gosh, Kristen, this is my friend Betty. Betty's so excited to be here. Betty, this is Kristen. Kristen, tell Betty what she should do. And Kristen would be like, oh, so excited that you're here. It's amazing. Man, what I did is I started with the platinum pack. And that's how I started. And then afterwards, Betty goes, okay, James, I want to do what Kristen did. I'm going to get a platinum. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. That's how we used to do business. That's why it would grow so fast. I think with social media, everyone almost takes responsibility and they go, I have to be the expert. I have to be the one. I'm alone. What we want to do in our culture is we want to bring back this idea that you're not alone. You're not an island. You have a landmass. You have so many people that can help you do this, and they're willing to help. And so it all comes down to their perception of like, how do you actually go out do this? And you can do three-way calls and Zooms however you want. You can do them in a chat. You can do them in a text. You can do them on a Zoom. You can do all different ways to do it. I tend to do chats a lot faster because I can literally just say, hey, Tina, meet Mike. Mike's a top leader at helping people succeed super fast. He's smart, kind, and strategic, exactly who you'd want to build with. If you have any questions, ask Mike. Oh, okay. And now Mike can take over and get all the questions answered from Tina. And they can go, wow, I mean, James did doing just introduce me to Mike and they answer all the questions. And so the biggest thing is you don't want to just say this stuff. You want to show it how people are coming in. And so people will always follow what you do, not what you say. And so, what I would encourage you and challenge you to do today is to go into all the people you have enrolled, customer or as an affiliate, however you've enrolled them. Go through that list and go, have I introduced these people to my support team? Have I introduced them through that? Now we launched a new boards app for everybody, and inside there is a launch series. If you haven't done the launch series, I'd highly encourage you to go through it. Every day asks you to reach out to your mentor, asks you to reach out to your sponsor and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Because you're establishing this communication line of support between you and your sponsors. And that's your goal. Your goal is, okay, how do I leverage the tools that we have? But more so, the power is in the team, is in people working together, is you not feeling like you're on an island. If you feel like you're doing this yourself, all you have to do is reach out and reach up. It's it's how all life happens. Whatever your beliefs are, whenever I have a super challenge, I'm like, oh my gosh, this happened. I don't know how to deal with it. I'm lost. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I go up. I pray. Like that's my answer to stress. My answer to stress is letting it go and letting God happen. Like that's all I do. And so it's almost so simple in its philosophy, but it's complicated because you have to let go of my question before I went through, and it still rears its ugly head all the time. So, I'm not perfect by any means, but my prevailing question when I was really in a place where I felt lost all the time and I was stressed and all these different things was, how do I figure this out? That was my old question. How do I figure this out? And that question, that sounds like, oh, what's wrong with that, James? You're a self-starter. You'll figure it out. Well, the problem is that puts me in a box and a bubble that just me, myself, and I. So now my question over the years has shifted to, how can we do this together? And now sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. And I fall back into my default of, how do I figure this out? How do I figure this out? And so my biggest challenge is I need to involve more people as I'm going through the process, because my default question is, how do I figure this out? And now I really want to make that shift into the we side of things. And so sometimes when you take a lot of action, you tend not to involve everybody and you want to involve more people. And so I've gotten pretty good at involving my support team, which would be, the whole people, all the people in our corporate team and the people that we've enrolled with and all these different things, is that I'm always reaching out for help or support. And, most people would be like, oh, but I don't want to annoy that person. I don't want to bother them. They're probably super, super busy. Here's the answer. And yes, there are a lot of busy people, But the thing is, if you're scaling your business in a way, the only people you're busy with are the people that are working, the people that are on fire, because they're the ones reaching out. They're asking the questions. So the only way that your leaders and your sponsorships know that you need help, here's the crazy thing, is if you reach out. Because I can make a challenge right now. I can make a challenge to this whole, how many people are on this call? 100, over 100 people on the call. I can make this challenge and I doubt even 20 people will do it. So we'll see if I can sway the numbers today. But here's my challenge. After this call, immediately message your sponsor and ask them a question. I don't care what the question is. It could be, how's the weather in your area today? Doesn't really matter. But literally just message them and check in with them and say, hey, I'm running. You could do this. You want me to give you something to say because we're in the beginning of the month. You could say, if Kristen was my upline, I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, Kristen, hope you're having a great Tuesday. Just want to let you know my goal this month is to go diamond. Well, whatever your goal is, go gold, platinum, whatever that goal is. I guarantee if you tell your sponsor that, they're now again, I won't speak inside there, but they're most likely they'll send back and go, "How do I help? What can I do? Can we do this together? What are we doing? What are we doing? How are we doing?" Because they're looking for people to raise their hand. That's what they're looking for. Because again, if they're a person that is enrolling a lot of people, they're putting a lot of people in front of this. They're using the tools, they're using third party, they're going through this process, and they're going through a process of elimination and empowerment. But they don't do the elimination and they don't do the empowerment. They allow people to do that themselves. So if you're quiet and you don't reach out to your sponsor, in their minds, you're eliminating yourself from the support because they don't have the time to go reach out to 100 people at the party and make sure everyone's fed. You can't feed 100 people like that. Now, there are people that used to be able to do that, feed fish to thousands of people at an event. I'm not that guy. So I can only feed like 2 or 3 at a time. And so that's our limitations as humans, but we like to think we can always do more, right? Like, oh, I can help everybody. I get you. I've been there. And so if you don't, if your sponsor, if you're the person that you enrolled, they're not active, or maybe they're brand new, you guys just joined together, whatever it is, it's your job to go up. So if you need help doing that, you can even reach out to corporate and go, hey, I enrolled here and my person, they're gone or whatever it is. Who's my next diamond? Can you tell me who my diamond is? Now, in our back office, our new back office, you're going to see, here's your diamond. You're going to see who that is so you can reach out. But it's just, you got to do your due diligence to find out who that person is and really go, hey, I need some help. I have some questions. And here's the struggles that people might face as we wind this down a little bit. And these are the struggles I faced. So this is the only reason I can talk to this. So the struggle I did face was, but I want to be the expert, because remember, my default was I need to figure this out. So I would become an expert at the products, and I'd become an expert. My biggest flaw is that I'm known as an expert in the comp plan. How's that a flaw? Well, because now people are like, oh, well, ask James about the comp plan. He'll know you how to do it. And my problem is that it's fun for me. Comp plans are like collecting baseball cards for me, and understanding them is like, playing board games. So I like comp plans. So it's a challenge. So I have to go and say, okay, it's not about me being the expert at it. And so the way I have battled that over the years is I build tools. So if you come to me and say, hey, James, how's the influencer bonus work? Now I could go blah, 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 blah. I could do that. But I just go to boards and I go, bloop, that's how it works. And it looks like I know what I'm talking about, because in boards, there's a section that goes the ways to get paid. And it's written out how the influencer bonus works. And it's like, I don't know, 4 paragraphs. And somebody goes, how does the influencer bonus work? I go that, and I send a video. And they go, wow, how'd you do that, James? And I go, there's this little boards app thing. You just press the button and you send it. And they're like, whoa, I could do that. So I create tools to battle the ego inside that says I need to be an expert. So that's one struggle. Another struggle that I have really experienced in my past is that a fear of being replaced. Ooh, that's a deep one. I'll try not to get emotional on that one. Because that's an innate thing we feel when we're in like a relationship with somebody, right? That fear of being replaced, or that fear of someone finding someone better, or whatever that is. we bring that same type of thing, those insecurities and those struggles, we bring that into our business because again, this is a relationship business. And so when you have fear of being replaced and you feel that people don't need you, you go, what's my value? What's my worth? And what's really cool about this business is your value and your worth is the actions that you take. It's not even based off your results because results will come. It's the actions that we take. And so the way that I've looked at it, and it was hard, it was not easy. It took years to do this. The way that I look at it now is I want to be replaced. And you go, wait a minute, what do you mean want to be replaced? One of my early mentors said, here's your mission. If you really want to create a massive business, because and this is funny because I can visualize it right now. He was somebody in a company and he was a really big leader. He made like a $1.4 million a year. And he was sitting in back. He always sat in back. He sat in back of the event. And this was an event, I think it was like 800 people there or something. And I went back, and this was in my research time. And I asked him, I said, how do you build a big business? He's like, here's what I teach all my people to do. And I go, okay, great. And he said, I teach people how to get to the front of the room as fast as you can, and then how to get to the back faster. How do you do that? And he's like, well, you want to teach people to take responsibility and learn how to get on stage back then. This is when we have stages, but they get on stage really back, and then you sit in the back and cheer them on. He's like, the faster you learn how to do that to get people to the front of the room and then cheer them on, the more money you'll make. And I said, okay. I didn't know how to do that. So over the years, again, I've created tools to help me do that so I could have people go to the front of the room faster than me. And here's the crazy part that I really have unleashed and let go of. I want that for people that are not in my business. I want that for people that are not in my company. I want that for everybody that I talk to. I'm like, hey, how can I help you? How can I support you? How can I, be a part of your journey, as Jim Rohn talks about? How could I be in your notebook some way, some shape? Because if you're in someone's notebook or you're in a book, you're there forever. It's how you live forever. The way that you live forever is you create impact in someone else's life. You don't create that by creating lots of money. You create it by doing impact. So that was a big thing for me to get over, was this fear of like, I'm going to be replaced. Now I'm like, who wants to replace me? I'm like running around like, you want to replace me? You want to replace me? Like I'm looking for people that want to take those reins and run. And here's the last one. And I think this is like a daily struggle that it's hard for humans. It's hard for us to get over this. It's the lack of trust. And so what I've learned, again, this is why we create all these systems. It's why, I'm a huge proponent of this. I got notes in here. It's like starting to fall apart. It's like, it's all I look to. When I have a question, I always go to this. And the way to get over the lack of trusting people, and like, if you've been burnt in the past, here's the thing, I'll do real talk as we wrap up. I've been so burned by this industry that if I told you half of the things that have happened to me, try or attempt to do this business ever again, by the burnness that I've been through, where companies have cut off checks, where I've been through something where I trusted people as close friends and family, and then as soon as I wasn't profit to them, I was gone. That's happened to me a few times over the last 25 years. But why do I keep going? I've developed a way that I don't really trust people per se. I trust a system, and the system is made up of people. And so when I have a system to lean on, if a person is not part of that, like people are not part of our system. Our system involves people, but you've heard me talk all the time about the difference between a spider and a starfish. If you haven't read that book, go read the book, Spider and a Starfish. And the idea of this, where our community is strong as a community. If one person comes in or one person leaves, the community doesn't feel that. We all just keep going. But we have to do these things and go through these struggles. And so as we wrap up here, again, my challenge is just go literally reach out to your sponsor today and tell them your goal and say, here's what I want to do. And here's maybe where you're struggling. Like, what is your struggle? That I mean, that would take a lot. It would take a lot of me to do that, and maybe I'll do that. I'll take the challenge. I will reach out to Brooke today, and I'll tell her my struggle, and I'll tell her my goal for the month, right? Because again, if you tell a goal and a struggle, it can really put it together. Those are kind of the two pieces, right? Because if I know your goal and I also know your struggle, if we work on your struggle, your goal happens. Those two things are correlated. And that's why this business is, we talk about the business of network marketing and direct sales being a business that's wrapped around personal growth because your income can grow by how much you grow personally and has nothing to do with your profession. So, when we think about that, make it where you are reaching out to people and master this idea of connecting people together and learn how to edify not just people that are in your sponsorship and your leadership line, but how do you edify other people that are not associated to? How do you edify people that are cross line to you? And that's one of the things we're trying to get rid of here in this company is we want to make it where we're all one team, we're all part of this bigger picture. And if you're somebody that wants to be a part of that, you can just go on the ride and have fun with this. And that's the challenge, right? Is how do we do that? We create this one team culture of communication and collaboration and leadership, and we just have fun doing this business of learning these fundamentals that's put in a book for you. So because again, if somebody comes to you and goes, hey, how do I do this business? I want to learn how to do all this stuff. My first thing is like, have you read this? And if the answer is I haven't read it, I'm like, well, then you go read this and let me know what comes from it. Because again, if you just read the philosophies and the principles in this book, it doesn't take long. I think it will take you 30 minutes to go through this, if that. And it's something that again, I'm getting all tattered here on the side, and again, I read this and I'm like, oh, I know all this stuff. But it doesn't matter if you know. It matters how much impact you have on another person using the information you know. If you, and I'll end on this, if you hold it, right? If you hold the information in and you go, I'm the one with the information, I'm the expert. This is how you will feel all the time. You'll feel stressed and you'll feel like people are out to get you and you're fearful, as opposed to when you go like this. If everyone you can visualize this and you go, ah, and I let go and I go, oh, that's what it feels like. If you do that for a minute, if you like you hold the stress and then you let it go, you go, okay, so how do I let go? Okay, I want to be a leader and I want to let go at the same time. Easiest way to do that, and I'm going to get time freedom. I'm going to do that by tapping into the tools, knowing where all those are. I'm going to do that by leveraging my team and using third party validation and going through that process. And that's what we want to bring here to one team culture. So I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Again, this will be on our podcast. You can find it on, we have the AM Power podcast on Spotify, Apple. We got it on YouTube. We got it everywhere. We got it in the boards. We got it everywhere. So you can tap in and really create a life that you can be proud of impacting and empowering others as one team. You don't have to take this on. We're doing this together. So, have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't know who's on tomorrow, but I'm sure they'll be awesome. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.